yellow dividing curtain. So please, if you are a commissioner, make your way forward and find some seats in the front and in the middle.
No,
All right, I think our next order of business is to take nominations for moderator for the 46th General Assembly. We
Number
see
3.
a nomination on microphone number 3.
Mr. Moderator, my name is Charles McGowan. I'm teaching elder from Nashville Presbytery. And I rise to place in nomination to be our next moderator, Urban Entz, teaching elder of Potomac Presbytery. Mr. Moderator, the pathway that Urban Entz has followed in coming to Christ and coming to the PCA is a demonstration of God's grace and mercy and sovereign providence. He was born and raised in Brooklyn, New York, attended with his family the closest Methodist church to his home. He attended City College of New York, majoring in electrical engineering, and after college was employed by Motorola in a very fine and job with great future. While in college, however, he got involved in a black nationalist radical movement and strayed from the roots that he had developed as a child through the Methodist Church and his family, and for a few years wandered in those circles. And then in the wonderful providence of God, he began to drift back, and Jesus began to call him back. And once he moved to Washington, D.C. with Motorola, he started attending the New Bethel Baptist Church, and there both he and his wife became Christians. Again, in the providence of God, he discovered Ligonier Ministries and was greatly influenced by R.C. Sproul and Table Talk magazine, and began to change his plans for seeking an MBA, decided that he might one day go to seminary, and so while still working at Motorola, he enrolled part-time at Reformed Theological Seminary in Washington, D.C., eventually getting his degree there, and then ultimately a doctor of ministry at Covenant Theological Seminary. He's been mentored by Kevin Smith, who at that time was pastor of the Mount Zion PCA Church in Bowie, Maryland. Then he became pastor of the City of Hope Presbyterian Church PCA in Maryland. And currently he is on the pastoral staff of Grace DC in Washington, D.C., a part of the pastoral team of the network of congregations there under Grace DC. And he is the director of the Institute for Cross-Cultural Ministries. He is married to Kim for 26 years. They have 4 great kids, and he has served this denomination well. As the chairman of the Overtures Committee at the year when we adopted that landmark Overture calling for racial reconciliation and acknowledging our own racial sin. And then last year, he chaired the committee on the role of women in the church and brought the report back. And this assembly adopted that report overwhelmingly. Mr. Moderator, if we elect Urban Entz to be our next moderator, we will do far more than just elect the first black moderator of this denomination. We would be electing a very capable and proven leader, a highly respected and faithful churchman, a brother who will preside with grace and great precision and great humor and absolute fairness over this assembly, and will represent the Presbyterian Church in America with excellence during the course of this year. I strongly endorse him and urge this assembly to elect him.
Thank you very much. Any other nominations? Seeing none, I will declare our nominations closed. Are there any objections? Hearing none, we will do a voice vote. All in favor of electing teaching elder Urban Entz as our next moderator, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstain? Well, by proclamation, I declare Erwin Ince our next moderator. If our nominator would please escort Reverend Dr. Ince to the platform.